Okay, class, this is Mrs. Bishop, and this is my first attempt at recording a video to put on YouTube. And this is on page 6 of your text, Math 113, Lesson 2, Part 2. Part 1 is on a link on Blackboard. If you can't get to it, let me know and I'll try to do something about it. So we're ready now for the second part, which is number 10 concept, and we're dividing radical, which means fractions, expressions. To divide radical expressions, we either simplify each radical and then reduce, or we rationalize the denominator by multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. Period. The conjugate of parentheses a plus bx parentheses is parentheses a minus bx parentheses, and that note is on page 6. So first of all, I want to remind you that the square root of x times the square root of x is always x. So, if I put the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, what am I going to get? 2. You're exactly right. So, let's look at example A here. The first thing we need to do is take that 50 and simplify it to the square root of 5 squared, which is 25, times 2 over the square root of 2. Since there's 2 5s, I can take out 1. So I'm going to have 5 times the square root of 2 over the square root of 2. Notice those will cancel out to 1, so that my answer is simply 5. If this had been the square root of 3, I would have multiplied. Never mind. We'll do that on the next one. Example B. We're going to multiply this one by the square root of 2 over the square root of 2. I do that because I know that that will make my denominator just 2. Never leave a radical sign on the bottom, on the denominator. So square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2, and 5 times the square root of 2 cannot be simplified. So, my friend, that's your answer. Okay. Try to reach over here to get C without getting in your way here. On this one, let's go ahead and simplify that 40 first of all. So I'm going to have 10 plus 2 times the square root of 10 over 2. Now, if I split these, 10 over 2 plus 2 times the square root of 10 over 2, notice that I can simplify that to 5 plus the square root of 10. Can't do anything more with that. So that, my friend, is the answer. Okay, I'm going to come back over here and erase this so that I can do example D on here, which is 1 plus the square root of 3 divided by 2, subtract the square root of 3. Now, I want to show you what the conjugate does first of all. If I have the square root, in parentheses, 2 subtract the square root of 3 times 2 plus the square root of 3, those are conjugates. And if you'll notice, we're going to FOIL. 2 times 2 is 4. And then we're going to do the outers, which is plus 2 times the square root of 3, and the inners, which is minus 2 times the square root of 3, and then square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is 3. Notice these cancel out to 0. So all I have is 4. That was supposed to be subtract 3 because of that negative right there. 4 subtract 3 is equal to 1. So if I multiply my problem by 2 plus the square root of 3 over 2 plus the square root of 3, that value is just 1. So it's legal to do that. And I know that if I do these two together, I'm going to get 1. So I'm going to have 1 on the bottom. On the top, I'm going to FOIL. 1 times 2 is 2. Then the outers would be a plus 1 times the square root of 3. And the inners is plus 2 times the square root of 3. And the last would be a plus square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is 3. Sorry about this delay. I dropped my pen. Plus 3. So I can combine my 2 and my 3, and I'm going to have on the numerator, scoot this down a little bit here, 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 1 times the square root of 3 plus 2 times the square root of 3 will be 3 times the square root of 3. So that, my friend, would be your answer. So now you have the notes you need to do the second part of lesson 2, which is on page 7. And you should already have done part 1, and there's only 4 problems on this. So when you get lesson 2 done, please submit it to me. If you're going to text it, please make sure that your answer is dark enough that I can see it. Either go over it with pen or rewrite it with pen and circle it so I can read it easily. Or if you have a scanner, scan it and attach it to an email. Whichever way you wish to do it is fine. Please get it to me as soon as possible. I'll see you all later.